on the other side of the glass. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. It's a beautiful thing because we are less than a half hour away from the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook with our guy, Tommy Wirtz. He'll be joining us here in the next segment as we get ready for the leadoff show at 4:30, taking you up to first pitch just after 5:30. Jacob Misiorowski on the mound tonight in Cincinnati. The bad news? I'm not going to watch it. Why? Because it's on Apple TV. So I won't see it. But I'll have it on my phone when I'm out having our Pizza Friday with the family. I'll be following along on the box score. We'll ask Tommy whether or not he has Apple TV Plus or whatever the heck you have to have for this goofy game coming up tonight. So that part I'm really mad about, and that part really stinks because I want to watch Misiorowski's every start, obviously. But if you don't have Apple TV, you're not going to be able to see it tonight, which is unfortunate. The other thing that I am looking forward to is seeing whether or not this team continues their offensive surge in Cincinnati, because that ballpark in the summertime is built for an offensive surge for certain, that you would expect this team to go out there and score a bunch of runs coming up today. That is something that if they don't average, I'm going to throw a number out there and then everybody will yell at me for jinxing this thing, but if this Brewers team doesn't go out there and average, say, 5 runs this weekend in Cincinnati, I guess I would be kind of surprised at this point. Now, I know there's no Blake Perkins. I know there's no Isaac Collins, and I think you could say right now Isaac Collins is probably the best hitter on this baseball team, and definitely the most consistent baseball hitter on this team at this point. Now, what does that mean for the future of this outfield for the Brewers and the future for Isaac Collins going forward? No clue. I don't know. Does that mean that he's obviously penciled in as a starting outfielder next year with Jackson Chourio, with Sal Frelick? Does that then mean Garrett Mitchell gets moved at some point this offseason, even though he's coming off of injury? Does he come back as a 4th outfielder at that point? Because you don't want to start Christian Yelich, obviously, in left field going forward next year. You want to continue to have him in that DH role. So if that's the case, then Chourio, Collins, and Frelick may be that outfield for the foreseeable future if Isaac Collins continues to be, that 300-type hitter going forward here. And we'll see what that looks like. We'll see if the Brewers can overcome not having either one of those guys out there in this series. So we'll see if that ends up what happens going forward here. Charlie, using the other side of the glass, we got to get to our green and gold update.
It's time for your green and gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan with Steve Sparky Fifer.
All right, we were supposed to have Tyler Dunn here. No luck as of this point. We had no luck on Ryan Wood earlier in the show either. So it's one of those deals. It's a Friday. People are out doing things, whatever. People get busy, sidetracked. For instance, Ryan Wood is in Indianapolis, so who knows where Ryan Wood is right now. And then Tyler Dunn, he's on the East Coast. Maybe got time screwed up, whatever the case is. So that's not a big deal. Before we get into our green and gold update, though, Charlie Usen, I heard that maybe the Cubs lost to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Is that officially done?
Yeah, that's officially done. They lost. It's a miscue by Pete Crow Armstrong. Tommy told me about it in the break, and then I looked at the video. And yeah, I don't need to see
there you go.
Nobody
on
needs
YouTube.
to see the.
Andrew Wagner sent me this screenshot. If you're watching on YouTube, look at how far
awful.
Pete Crow Armstrong overslid the bag. Look at that. I mean, that's like a full body away. He didn't do it by like a couple of inches. That was like a full body length away.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. And this is the type of thing that you get out of a player like PCA, though. He's all over the place. His nickname is the Bat Out of Hell. Like, that's just exactly how he plays. 100 miles per hour all the time. Just the first half of the season, it worked out. Now you're seeing it where it's the opposite, and it's just detrimental. It's kind of very Carlos Gomez-esque, in my opinion.
Really?
Where it's just kind of, again, you're playing 100 miles per hour.
Yeah,
it either goes perfect for you, makes you look like an MVP candidate, or it makes you look like a fool.
That is not great if he is Carlos Gomez for you. Not that I don't like Carlos Gomez, because I love Carlos Gomez. Carlos Gomez, highly entertaining to watch as a fan, highly entertaining to listen to after games and before games as a fan, and all of the videos on social media that he puts out dancing and everything else, highly entertaining. Okay? Okay. But like you said, a little bit reckless on how he plays. And sometimes when you're crossing that line, it turns out with great results. And then other times it could be disastrous results. Now, he is a younger player, Pete Crow Armstrong, so there's still time to fix him. All right, let's get to our Green and Gold update brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook here. Tom Silverstein, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, has his top 3 things to watch in this game. Number 1 is Malik Willis. And he says most of the starters aren't expected to play, so will be behind the number 2 offensive line. This is not fair. I'll be honest with you. We're all going to watch the game, right? Tomorrow, kickoff at noon. We're going to talk about it on Monday. Andy Herman will talk about it on the Pack a Day radio show. Mason will talk about it with Tommy on Monday because Mitch Thunder Nellis is off next week. And then I'll talk about it with Charlie on Monday afternoon. But if we're being honest, I don't feel like there's going to be a lot to take away from Malik Willis and what's going to pretty much be the second string offense going against this Colts team, who I can't imagine will play many starters either.
No, not really. This is kind of, again, just another game like last week where, yeah, there may be some bad things that happen, but you just can't harp on the bad things because it's a preseason game, because they're going to be running vanilla offense and defense, because they're going to be going into this without any of their starters playing realistically. I think there's only 1 to 2 to maybe 3 total players that you're really trying to keep an eye on. Jordan Morgan a little bit in this game I think you want to watch, depending on where they're going to play and wherever he's going to be. On the defensive side of the ball, for a couple series, you probably will see a Lucas Van Ness, see him move around the field. You want to see how he's going to play. I think those are going to play.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? So are they even going to play? Point 2 here from Tom Silverstein, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Tight end Luke Musgrave starting to show he could have a role in the passing game. Now, again, he puts in here, assuming Musgrave plays a lot and Kraft doesn't, this could be a good opportunity for him to show that he could be a second tight end option for the Packers quarterbacks. Are they screwed if he's not the second tight end option for the Green Bay Packers? Because you got Fitzpatrick out there, right? That's the other tight end they brought in. He's like 6'6". He's a gigantic dude. And he looked okay in that first preseason game. So maybe that's the other option. I think Musgrave, if we're being honest, is kind of a cherry on top of the sundae. Even though he was drafted before Kraft and you had expectations for Musgrave, to which Kraft is giving you right now. But if Musgrave does pan out to be that other guy that can stretch the field, it's a cherry on top of the sundae, because then you do get the extra deal of having 2 tight ends that can hurt an opposing offense at one time. Not a lot of football teams are going to have 2 tight ends that can beat you down the middle of the field, and the Packers would be one of them.
I think it only becomes a problem for the Packers if for some reason Tucker Kraft takes a step back this year. If he's not that number 1 tight end like he solidified himself as last season, if for some reason he can't stay healthy like a Luke Musgrave, then it's important that Luke Musgrave is that second tight end and ready to go and is an important part of this offense. At the same time, Tucker Kraft looked really good. And when Tucker Kraft is at his best in these games, and if he's healthy out there, I don't think there is a true need for a second tight end. The Bears needed one. Cole Kmet just didn't take that next step last season, so they went out and got a second tight end in order to give them more options in that space of the field. Tucker Kraft is that dude, man. Just let him go out there and ball.
Yeah, Tucker Kraft is definitely that dude. The third point by Tom Silverstein, the Packers could play a part in deciding which quarterback the Colts choose to become their starter. What if this happens? What if Malik Willis with the Packers offense scores 2 touchdowns, looks amazing, right? Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson look horrible. Is there a world to where Malik Willis is a Colt at some point next week?
Maybe, but also I think the Packers know what they have in a Malik Willis as that backup quarterback, and like we talked about in the past, I feel like the asking price for a Malik Willis is going to be above maybe what a team like the Colts are willing to give, especially when, like you talked about yesterday, Arch Sweepstakes is coming up pretty soon here.
Well, that's the other thing, like we talked about yesterday with Arch Manning. But if Ballard's trying to keep his job, and if Shane Steichen's trying to keep his job, and these 2 clowns that they got over there trying to play quarterback look bad again against Packers second and third stringers and can't move the ball and can't do anything, and Malik Willis marches up and down the field with this second unit with no Reed, no Wicks, no Dobbs, no Watson, right? I'm assuming Malik Golden may play. Not Malik Golden, Matthew Golden. But For the Packers, you really want Matthew Golden playing with all these other wide receivers hurt at this point? You may just sit him just to make sure you have a healthy wide receiver going into practice next week. But if Malik Willis goes up and down the field in this Colts defense, you're telling me Ballard doesn't call over to Green Bay or walk over to Goody and be like, all right, man, what's it going to take? Like, what are we talking about here? If I give you a third, you good? And I would assume the Packers would be like, yeah, we're good. You give me a third-round pick for him? Deal. We'll take a third-round pick for Malik Willis if need be. And then Algersberg and Clifford, one's the backup, and the other one's on the practice squad, and you save both of those two guys if you like that situation.
You want Sean Clifford as your backup quarterback, Sparky?
We've already been in that boat.
I know, but you talked about it last week.
I can't stand
too.
Sean Clifford.
Yeah, you don't want that guy in that spot.
I can't stand Sean Clifford, but I think you're going to have a desperate Colts team if both of these two quarterbacks look bad again, and a GM whose job is on the line, and a head coach whose job is on the line, and you might be able to take advantage and swindle a draft pick out of them that's higher than what you should be able to get from Malik Willis.
Maybe, but that team just also looks so abysmal. So any draft picks that they can get would be useful.
That's what I'm saying.
And if I'm
a second-round pick for them could be like a late first.
Exactly. I think if I'm Shane Steichen, first of all, I don't really want to be in this situation anymore. If I'm him, I think I kind of want to be fired by the Colts at this point.
Get me out of here.
Honestly, go back, do a coordinator job, find a different head coach job. This is not the organization you want to be in. And Ballard, has made a lot of bad decisions here, but this is also kind of a new ownership group. I know it's the same family, but it's a different changing of guard here. And honestly, if I were him, I'd probably want a new change of scenery too, to get different expectations, change things around, get a different position. I don't know if those guys are really that willing to save their jobs in Indianapolis.
Then they should have been out of jobs already. You should have been out of a job already. I think Chris Ballard is willing to do whatever Chris Ballard has to do in order to keep his job moving forward.
Yeah.
Right? So from that perspective, I think you want to do that. The reason they wanted Anthony Richardson was the ability for him to get out of the pocket and run and use his legs and have that added element like some of the other guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have in the National Football League. Okay, fine. But he can stay healthy, and when he is healthy, yes, he'll make a couple of wow throws. You're like, whoo, that's what I'm talking about. And then he'll make a couple throws like, damn, did you not see the receiver? Like, who the heck was that to? That's what you get with that guy. And that's what it was at Florida, and that's what it is now. He has very limited experience. He doesn't have a lot of starts in college, and now he doesn't have a lot of starts in the pros either. Malik Willis, at least, is coming from a good quarterback coaching situation to go to Philadelphia with a good base. They've been working on his feet all offseason, getting in a better position to throw the ball and make accurate throws. I think if I'm Shane Steichen, I would welcome a professional quarterback at this point that gives me the opportunity to run like he wanted it, like he did with Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, and gives you an accurate quarterback that's going to make the right decision if you're the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. Take a quick time. I'll come back. Other side, we'll check in with Tommy Wirtz. Talk about things we missed on today's show as well. That's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from 12:50 a.m. at 105.7 FM, The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. 86 degrees right now, real feel of 91. Few showers, possibly developing late. Low tonight of 70 degrees.
Frelick scores. Collins trades places with him. 5-0.
3 consecutive base hits with the Brewers with 2 outs. 3 consecutive hits to drive in runs. Look at that approach.
There it is. Isaac Collins doing Isaac Collins things. Unfortunately, he's not going to be with the Brewers in Cincinnati this weekend. Expecting a baby this weekend out in Denver. No Blake Perkins. He's on bereavement leave. Highlight courtesy of FanDuel Sports Network. Steve Sparky Fifer with you. Charlie using other side of the glass. Potawatomi Sportsbook doing something very cool. Providing shuttles to and from Brewers home games the rest of the year. Now, it's really easy. Shuttles start leaving Potawatomi Hotel and Casino 1 hour before the game. And then they return back to the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino up to 1 hour after the game. You can get on their shuttles. Now, in order to get on said shuttle, you either got to make a same-day wager there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook or make a purchase at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. That is your entry onto the shuttle. As Charlie and I have been talking about, simply the no-brainer play, as long as this team continues to be hot, is you just bet the Brewers to win. Get on the shuttle, they win, you come home, you come back to the Potawatomi Sportsbook, cash your ticket, and you actually make money on the venture because you're paying no money to park in their parking garage at the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. So that would be my suggestion. More details, go to Potawatomi.com/sportsbook, Potawatomi.com/sportsbook. Joining us now, the big old hunk of love, Tommy Wirtz is here, getting ready for the leadoff show coming up 4:30 to 5:30, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Good afternoon, Tommy Wirtz.
Hey, how are you doing? How are you guys doing today?
Doing great. I've seen a lot of you today. You've been hanging out, doing your thing as always. I appreciate it. Let's talk about what's coming up on tonight's show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's going to be great. So we got one more day of Austin Herdina, and then he's going to be out for a week.
Him and Thunder going somewhere together?
He's going on like a cruise. I think he said that his mom was originally going to go with a friend, and then she had to drop out, and then he was like, all right, why not fit another vacation in here? So we'll have Luis Olmos on the rest, and, Luis, great guy, jumped on a couple of times this week when Austin doing some busy stuff. I have a feeling that he is getting a lot of requests for those fantasy football drafts that they're going to do there, so I think that's going to be an awesome idea, keeping him busy. Drew Wagner will join us here again at 5:15, and I just cannot wait to hear your reaction to the lineup today. I just cannot wait. Have you seen it yet? Okay, I won't spoil it. Do you want me to spoil it?
No.
Okay, I won't.
That's why people tune in to hear the leadoff.
All right,
show,
yeah.
right.
It's
you're going to lead the show with it, right?
I am going to lead the show with it, yes. So just tune in right away. Long. It's going to be super easy. But yeah, you mentioned it with obviously the big headlines are Isaac Collins and Blake Perkins going to be out for the weekend. We'll see how long that will last. I don't anticipate it being too long, but right before the Cubs series, obviously, brings up some concerns. No rush on either of them, both gone for very valid reasons, but two of the more hot hitters in the lineup leaving for sure.
This is the thing with this game tonight. You get Jacob Mizorowski on the mound. Did not have a rehab assignment.
Yeah.
I've not seen this, so maybe Murphy said it already and it's out there on social media, but I've been doing the show. I haven't been on social media as much. That is there a pitch limit on Mizorowski tonight going into this one?
I believe Adam McCalvey it was. It could have been Kurt Hogue. Now I'm mixing them up, but it is an abbreviated start is the term that they use. So I would assume
3 innings.
Yeah, that's probably a tops, right? I mean, if he gets to 45 pitches, 50 pitches, he's going to get the heave, I would think. Mm-hmm.
So then they'll piggyback him with somebody else. Surprised at all that Grant Anderson is the guy optioned down the side armor out of the bullpen for the Brewers?
I would assume it's got to be an options thing, right? Otherwise, why would it not be Tobias Myers after he just pitched two for the Brewers during that stretch?
Hey, Tobias! Yes! Yeah, he survived. That's a great point.
Right, it's got to be.
Maybe he's finally out of the damn doghouse with Murphy.
Well, I mean,
Maybe.
he did a great job in the 7-run lead to protect that when he came in and closed it out. Didn't have to use anyone else.
Charlie, I said
he did his job.
Yeah,
Charlie and I talked about it. I said if he doesn't get through this and they have to bring somebody in, he will not be on this team going forward. It will be over tonight.
I would assume that's got to be the only situation. I don't know the options offhand. Maybe I'll ask Drew Wagner about it if that also was a case. I know you had him on earlier in the show too. As I said, he'll join again at 5:15 on the leadoff show. But obviously, I don't know who else it could have been, right? They're not going to give away a lefty, so Koenig was safe for that time.
Yep.
Are you in favor of Miz making this his, quote, kind of rehab start during this stretch, or would you have just rather let him get a couple more days and then start things up in the Cubs series?
What are your options? I didn't look at AAA to see when Carlos Rodriguez last pitched, but what pitcher would have matched up in the Nashville rotation that would be getting the start tonight versus Mizorowski? I think that would be what I would want to know. Like, so if it's Carlos Rodriguez or Jacob Mizorowski, well, which one would you rather have on the hill at this point?
Yeah, that makes sense, too. I think Chad Patrick pitched closer to the end of the week now, if I'm remembering correctly, trying to see if I can find that. But even just, we haven't seen a bullpen outing or a bullpen start in a while now, and I thought this would have been a prime. DL Hall comes in because he hasn't pitched in a while, too, almost 4 days, something like that.
Great article on DL Hall in the Journal Sentinel.
I would have thought maybe they would have had another opening situation with Hall, Ashby, if they wanted to do that. But, I mean, I'm not going to complain if there's more Jacob Mizorowski on my TV.
No, I'm not going to complain either, except it's not going to be on my TV because it's on Apple TV tonight.
See what I did there? That was called a layup there for you. I knew what you wanted to say.
You did good.
I'm going to tell you right now, 3 weeks ago, when they had the last one where Murphy ate the pancakes, right?
Yep.
I signed up for the free subscription, but that only lasts 7 days.
Of course.
I will be purchasing Apple TV Plus for 1 day today. Yes, I will.
You can purchase for 1 day?
No, it's going to cost me for the month, but I will be buying it and then canceling the subscription today. Yes.
You don't know anybody that has it?
I think Andy said he might have a login, but I don't. What am I going to do? Just like now I'm going to I'll text Andy. We'll see if he replies before the end of the show. Can I get that Apple TV password?
Because I think aren't some of these apps like you have to be within so far of whatever the user is. So you may be too far away for Andy's to work for you anyhow.
Maybe. I didn't even know if that was going to happen. Actually, funny enough, as I'm looking in, it was Patrick's birthday yesterday, in case you were wondering too. I think it's just dumb, and I really don't like it how that they have it on all these different platforms. I subscribe to Bally Sports, and yet I don't get to watch really every game during this, or FanDuel Sports now. I was watching on the Bally Sports app yesterday the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers game because they were all off, and that was awesome. That was just such a fun game to watch. Andrew Fisher, I watched it start with Made, Pena, Fisher was 1-2-3. Dingus was batting fourth as well.
That's amazing.
And they went 1-2-3 single to start the game that brought home Jesus Made. In the 8th inning of that game, Andrew Fisher ended up having a single that dribbled to first base that would end up scoring 2 runs because the batter before my guy Luis Pena with a double there in the 8th inning came around to score.
To score on that play.
And I don't know if you didn't see the play. Timber Rattlers have it up on their Twitter as well. Go check it out because
it's kind of a high hopper, kind of a little bit towards that right side that he hit.
It was a tough play for sure, but my favorite part of it is just immediately as Pena touches home, like him and Made are ready to just embrace and like clap it up, shake it up because I mean these guys are going to be a joint package, it feels like, more and more so. And we heard a little bit from the manager of the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers.
Who was at short? Because Fisher's playing third. So was Made or Pena at short, and who was at second?
So what they're going to do, and this I played this sound on the leadoff show last time when I believe it was Estevez is the manager's name of the Timber Rattlers. They're going to have 2 days apiece at a position, shortstop and second base, and then they're going to have 1 day off built in as well, and then they'll rotate them in around there.
So they're both going to be rotating between second and short.
Yes. So they will be playing like that the entire season for the rest of the Timber Rattlers season. They will be splitting the time and then each having a day off as well.
There's a significant money difference between shortstop and second at the big league level.
Maybe it was third base, now that I say it out loud.
Third base, because Fisher's at third base. So, I mean, unless Fisher's going to sit or move Fisher to first base, you know, in those moments, if you're going to try and move him to first base or DH or whatever the case may be. We don't talk about Dingus enough. I'm sorry. That dude can flat out hit.
He can. He's a stud, too. And
power.
Yeah. Fisher is actually now the Brewers' top-ranked lefty in the system. sole
And
lefty.
they just drafted him in the first round this year, for those of you that don't know, from Tennessee.
Yes, so Andrew Fisher is now the number 6 prospect according to MLB Pipeline. I believe ESPN has him at like number 9, just sneaking into it from Kylie McDaniel. But I like what he does, and if he's going to keep on brand with this Brewers baseball, he was talking about how he says he feels like he can communicate still with Made and Pena, even though they don't speak the same language.
Yep, I saw that.
Which, I mean, if that doesn't tell you that the power of friendship is just stronger than even English, like that's what we're going through right now. It's awesome. And one of our guys, Ryan Wetland, who we used to have on Wisconsin Sports Weekend when me and Charlie were doing the show together, I think he's kind of involved with it. But he quote tweeted it after Pena's double and said, "Do we now just have the best high A team of all time?" And I tried to tell him, like, did you watch any Carolina Mudcats this year?
Not.
Because they were just studs down there, and obviously ready for high A.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That'll do it for Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan Studios. Thanks for listening all week long. Charlie, Jack Pembroke, tomorrow morning, 9 to 11, Wisconsin Sports Weekend. What do you got coming up?
Should be a lot of fun. Working on getting a special Packers guest. Nothing in set in stone yet, but I've been efforting all show so far.
Beautiful.
So we're going to try to get something going here.
Good luck on that. 9 to 11 tomorrow. Our guy, the big old hunk of love, Tommy Wirtz, up next, 4:30 to 5:30, the leadoff show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. You will hear me here in studio reacting to what exactly this lineup is coming up next. So stay tuned for that. Enjoy the rest of your night. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Have a good one. Toodles.